Hi Pisces, welcome to your week ahead taroscope with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, these readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant signs. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign, Pisces is for you. Remember to watch all three so that you know which part of you I resonate with most as a reader. And with that said, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So for your key to the week this week, if you are a continued subby, you know Rafi loves ya. And if you're new to my channel, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and this resonates, hit that subscribe button. So your key is the Empress, joy, pleasure. This week, Pisces, whatever else is going on, you are being invited and encouraged to just have a really good time, right? Whether that's that you go out and party, whether it's that you invite friends over for dinner, whatever the case might be, this is a week for you to really get yourself into a space of leisure and pleasure, right? You really want to tap into that. Now, the other thing with the Empress, remember she's a lady, darling. This is Venus, right? She likes everything easy and aesthetically pleasing. So it may be that in all of these different areas of life, you need to go through the process of enhancing the look. And, you know, while it's not all about the aesthetic, I can tell you a lot of the times the aesthetic of things can really make or break stuff. So something to think about. For your actions and options, you've got the Five of Swords. This is like pretty but harsh words. So this week, when it comes to your actions, there might be you having to lay down a little bit of tough love for somebody, right? Where you kind of have to, you know, put someone on blast, but you can do this gently. And with the Empress, it may be something that this person is either expecting or actually something that they need from you. Now, Pisces as a sign is not gratuitously mean or forthright or whatever. Like, they have a somewhat sort of quiet, not subdued, but what's the word that I'm looking for? A somewhat quiet and reserved nature, right? You guys tend to kind of, you know, step back, but this might be one of those weeks where you're actually like, no, you know what? I've got something to say and I'm going to make damn sure it's heard. When it comes to your the options that are available to you, the Empress and the Five of Swords is like, yeah, it just feels like there's going to be an opportunity that will open up for you to have a dialogue that's a particularly not a comfortable one, but it will go well or either in your favor. Now, you've got the Wheel of Fortune as your communications and conversations. Look at this, you've got the two benefics, right? You've got the Empress, which is Venus, you've got the Wheel of Fortune, which is Jupiter. Both of these energies are supporting you in some way, shape or form. This is either a lucky break, like, so let's say you're having a problem at or with work, right? That Wheel of Fortune means that there's a lucky break, or there's something that just settles in your favor, or it's like, what's the best way to put it? Yeah, it's not just that something settles in your favor, it's like whatever challenges there were, actually it resolves in a way that you're happy with, that is really beneficial for you. Now, for those of you that are studying or in some form of academia, the Wheel of Fortune being Jupiter energy, this is not only about you, you know, really being in the right place at the right time, it's also about a positive development that unfolds either within the sphere of your studies or the scope of your school, in, you know, without you having to do anything. And, you know, with that Five of Swords, if there is some kind of dispute or challenge going on, it really does sort of, you know, completes or culminates in your favor. Now, for those of you that are employed by somebody else, this is either new work that comes in, so this could be that you get headhunted, maybe you end up working with somebody and someone overhears you working or sees you working and says, look, are you interested in a job? This actually happened to, so the last job that I ever had, which ended in 2018, I remember 2 months before I left, we had like a regular client who would come in a lot of the time, and I remember him saying to me, like, you are wasted here, do you want a job? Like, would you come and work with me? And I never went, obviously, but sometimes I do wonder, like, what position I would have ended up in had I gone to him. But interesting times for sure. Now, yeah, like this week you could get headhunted. It's possible that the challenges that you're facing at work or are maybe experiencing right now when it comes to your work, not only do they improve, but this actually could give you the oomph or the push that you need to take things to the next level. Speaking of the next level, for those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, people that work for themselves, this is an expansion or an amplification of what you do, but you're going to have to demonstrate a certain amount of grit, a certain amount of bark, a certain amount of bite in order to get the goods out of this. You've got to show up for it. It's not going to be enough for you to, you know, to do the usual Piscean thing, which is go with the flow. Now, finally, for those of you that are retired and no longer working, one way that this might show up for you, this could be some kind of plan that you have for travel, for movement, to go sort of elsewhere, or to think sort of, you know, about what comes next effectively. And, you know, there might be a naysayer in the midst. And that's for all of you Pisceans in general. But for those of you that are retired and no longer working, maybe you're thinking about what the next sort of stage of life looks like, and your significant other or a family member, like there's a real naysayer, and this is across the board, and maybe this is where you have to get your bark or your bite on. Now, for your love and relations, you've got the Judgment card. So for those of you that are single, you'll be reconnecting with an ex, somebody from the past. And it's likely to be somebody from your deep past, somebody that you hadn't really expected to see or speak to in a long time, in some way, shape or form. Another way this potentially shows up as well, because it's the Judgment card, this is like you taking your love life in your own hands, right? Getting really proactive about it. The Judgment card is a call to action. You've got this with the Wheel of Fortune. This is monumental stuff if you let it be, right? And for those of you that are partnered, married, or in long-term commitments, whatever long-term or long-standing issue that you've had with your partner that seems to come up and go away and come up and go away, this time round, this week, you actually have a chance to bring it to a close in a way where it actually is done, right? Like it's like done, it's finished, just, you know, we're good. And then finally, you have for your money and materials, you've got the Strength card. So when it comes to money, finances, resources, when it comes to making money, generating money, that Strength card basically says you've already got the vehicle to make the money. It's just that you're holding yourself back, right? Like there's some kind of worry or fear there in the back of your mind. It's almost like you're holding yourself back in some way. And this week, you've just got to go for it. Like if there were ever a week that required guts from you, it's absolutely this one. Look, we're 3 for 4 here as well, right? 3 major arcana cards out of 4 potential, you know, from the entire deck. That means there's no accidents here, right? So the money that you require, that you desire, is on the other side of your bravery. This week you've got to do something against the grain, or you've got to do the thing that scares the shit out of you, quite frankly. When it comes to your physical health and vitality, this with the Judgment card, there's 2 ways I'm seeing this. This is either a chronic health situation that has come up previously, and this is about you having the guts to address it, or potentially for those of you that have had, remember I'm not a doctor, I can't give you medical advice, not diagnosis, disclaimer, 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 but I will say for those of you that have had problems with your liver previously, or weight gain that's causing problems with the liver, this week you really do need to start making a plan to get it together, because it could become a problem further down the line. And then finally, when it comes to your home and environment, the Strength card is really about sort of owning the space that you inhabit. So like this week, really, maybe you have to, you know, that 5 of Swords is speaking really loud. It's like this week you have to just really stamp your feet, you know, and kind of let everybody know, like, no, this is what I want, this is what I don't want, this is where I'm at, like, what are you going to do about it? Okay, with that said, if you want to book your personal session with me, you can do so on the link in the description box below. Have a fantastic week. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.